Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the next episode of The Emergence Show. I'm Nico Farah, your host, and we're back with another very informative episode talking about how you can use this amazing platform, Roblox, that originally was counted as gaming platform. Now it's some sort of metaverse or virtual world, but very empowering world that is so fun for younger or older generation. And we have an expert here, James, who is going to share with us his insights, his experience as being a player to a strategist, working with amazing brands, creating magical experiences that we often don't see in many of the brand activations. And in our previous episode, we talked about how we can have authentic activations for brands in these environments. But we're going to go deeper into Roblox with this amazing expert. Hi, James. Thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, it's good to be here. I think you maybe built me up too much. I'm
No,
not that much of an expert. I just like playing Roblox. So
Now, if any of you ever follows James on LinkedIn or Twitter, you will see how informative topics and information he's sharing, always with so much more information. So definitely give him a follow and engage with his content because it's very educative. So I'm so honored to have you. Please tell us a little bit more about your background, how you got into Roblox, and going from like a player to a strategist and creator.
sure. So I have been playing Roblox now for around about 7 years,
Wow,
and I got into it because I have six younger siblings. I have four younger brothers and two younger sisters.
amazing.
Um, I don't think my parents necessarily had a TV when they were younger, so and it was I got into it as something to play with them. I've always been a gamer ever since I was young, and being able to find something that is able to play with a variety of ages is difficult. So yeah, I got into Roblox because of that, and in terms of content creation, I got very lucky. I went viral a couple of times on TikTok.
Wow.
I got up to 250,000 followers and started live streaming on Twitch. And that came about because, my brothers, when they didn't want to play, they would just sit and watch me, which I found very obscure. Um, but, I was persuaded by my sisters to give it a try, and I did. And I sort of got into content creation that way. Then, as for going into strategy and stuff like that, it honestly almost like fell into my lap. It is something that I enjoy. I enjoy the space, and there's lots of different cool things going on, and I just wanted to be involved in that. And as brands started to enter the space, it was fun, but also disappointing. Like as a player, sometimes not all brands, but sometimes very disappointing. And reaching out to brands and being able to chat to them about like, hey, like as a player, I probably would have included I would have enjoyed that a little bit more. So really sort of like fell in my lap, but it's something that's just continue going and growing, and it's exciting to be part of.
That's amazing. So great to hear that. Hi, Gabriel. Hi, everyone in the audience that is watching live. I appreciate you all for being here and spending your Tuesday morning with us. So before we get into, all the brand side, for those of our audience that may not know exactly like what's so special about Roblox, maybe tell us like what is unique and special about Roblox? Why should everyone pay attention to it?
What's unique is you can do anything. I've got a very good developer friend, Scribe. Shout out to Scribe at Turning Tables that says, with any budget, anything can be done, and it really,
Well,
and he means that it could be bridging Roblox to the physical world. It could be creating a film inside Roblox, like quite literally, anything can be done, and your imagination is your limitation, which I think is the most exciting thing. And there's really not that many constraints at all. I've seen some developers do some fantastic things. In terms of what makes it even more unique is, for me, I would say like trading, which sounds like kind of like boring, but it's very similar to CS:GO. If anyone has sort of played CS:GO, where you have exclusive items that can be worth quite a lot. Obviously, most recently, you guys have maybe seen on LinkedIn that Adidas sold an item for 2 million Robux, which is very impressive. The most expensive UGC item ever, which is around about 20,000 USD. But what's more impressive is some of the official Roblox items. One of the ones off the top of my head, a Dominus is worth around about 7 million USD, and there's only 28 of them. And so the desire that has and the clout that has, as a huge collector myself, I collect like a lot of Funko Pops. I've collected different like sticker books and stuff like that in my time. That's what excites me and makes it sort of very different for me. But there's so many things I could talk your ear off. We would need to book this for like 3 hours, to be honest with you.
Oh, no, I appreciate that. These are very interesting points. I didn't know that. So is this trading not available like in other platform, or there's more of it and in a more exciting way?
Um, some platforms there's trading available, but for the most part, it's not that existent. And I think what's super unique about Roblox is you have some items that you can take into every game with you. So like some avatar items you can take into every game. So like this Dominus, for example, can go into any game and doesn't do anything. But then a lot of games, say Pet Sim as an example, has their own unique trading system within their own ecosystem. So then trading becomes like a really big thing in some games. If you're talking about different rarity of pets, how strong they maybe are, different knives that are available in MM2, and there's lots and lots of different trading systems inside these like micro communities as well. So I find that like incredibly fascinating, because obviously the prices are all driven by how many people are playing, how rare it is, what it does for you, and stuff like that. And as they bring out new items, you can see items drop, and then some items just hold value for such a long, long time.
Wow, that's interesting. So it's all designed by these creators that are creating these games, right? And it kind of evolves based on the demand.
Yeah. So the avatar items are on the actual marketplace, which is owned and sort of designed by obviously Roblox themselves. But any UGC creator now, because they opened it up about 3 months ago, that anyone can upload, and you can upload any sort of item within TOS and stuff like that. Anyone can upload, which is great. Beforehand, there was a limited amount of people, around about 800, and before that was Roblox only. So they're definitely making a lot of changes and a lot of progression there, and that's what we started to see with a lot of brands. They are releasing their own sort of UGC items, and that's a great thing. But then, yeah, within some of the games, that is controlled by the developers, which the value is very often controlled by the community. Like, how cool is something? What boost is it giving me? What is this allowing me to do? And how rare it is, and stuff like that. And that can also be driven a lot by a lot of the creators. If like a creator is making a particular YouTube video on something like that, it can be even more rare in that sort of regard.
Amazing, very cool. And so, if you were to compare, I mean, briefly we talked about Roblox versus Fortnite. Can you share a little bit about that? Kind of like how Roblox is different from like another very popular platform, Fortnite.
Yeah. So I think some of the biggest differences are that Fortnite started out as a game, obviously saved the world, and then became very, very popular through their battle royale, and they're now transitioning it into being a platform which makes sense for them. They're offering a lot more. Obviously, their recent collaborations with Lego and being able to use their IP and all that type of stuff is very exciting. And for creators to be able to use UAFN and all that type of stuff, I think it is exciting. And
Yeah.
I think they are transitioning to being a platform. Some would argue maybe they're there right now, but I think you still need quite a lot more people to be creating games and stuff like that. And then on the other hand, I would say that Roblox has moved away from owning their own IP. They've started to do some things that are sort of theirs, but they're more in collaboration with developers in terms of like the Hunt recently and the Classic event. But for the most part, Roblox actually is just a platform. They provide all the developers tools. Sometimes they have assets that are available and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's the developers that are creating the community and creating the games and stuff that they wanted to play. Like we were obviously saying beforehand, if you had your top 10 games on Roblox leave and say, transition to Fortnite, which would be crazy. But if that happened, Roblox would probably be in trouble.
Yeah.
Whereas Fortnite always has I've got a game. Like I can fall back onto my battle royale. But something like that would not happen. But yeah, I would say the biggest difference is.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that really helps because in our previous episode we talked about how challenging it is. Like when you go to a game, you have to be very mindful of like their culture, their story, and everything, and you want to activate there. So it's very helpful for brands to kind of know what the options are. So in terms of like your role as a strategist, what does it involve to be a strategist for Roblox? What are the elements that you work on and collaborate with brands on? If you can just expand a little bit.
Yeah, so a lot of the time it is looking at how brands can get the most out of their activation. So be that connecting them with the right creators, the right developers to collab with, the right UGC creators, or how are we going to build out this activation? What are we trying to hit? How far do we want it to go, and what can we actually do? I think a lot of the times, especially right now, a lot of brands are coming in, they're chatting to me and they're saying, I want to be in Roblox, but I don't know anything about it. So it's having that introduction for them of sort of, this is what it is, this is what we can do. And there's a lot of different options that are available to them, and having that understanding that, realistically, we probably can't do everything, right? Very similar if you went to a restaurant, first time you've been there, they've got a great menu, you wouldn't order everything. So it's helping guide them to, okay, what do you actually want to achieve and how can we get there? So that's sort of where I come in, and I just say to people, I just play a lot of Roblox. It's pretty much it.
No, it's amazing. I'm sure there are like limitations that brands should be aware of and stuff like that. That potentially you're warning them. Is it any different? Like, do they need to like run anything by Roblox itself? Like, is there an approval process at all?
So if a brand is wanting to do a sort of like site-wide, huge, massive takeover, then I know that Roblox have um, like a brand team. I forget what their actual title is, but there is a team that will help look after brands and sort of introduce them to their partnered studios, and some of the studios like Sawhorse, Dubbit, Game Fam, stuff like that, and they will be that liaison. But if you're not going to be, if you don't want to go down that route, or perhaps the budget is maybe not something that's going to be site wide or anything like that, then no, there's no real sort of approval process, as long as everything is within TOS, and any developer that you work with will be pretty au fait with what's within TOS, and the moderation with Roblox in most respects are pretty strong. So that comes with taking people off site. You can't say go to www.google.com because that will get moderated down. So, but the developers are very, very good at stuff like that.
Okay, very helpful. Cool. I want to get into the community aspect of Roblox, but before that, we have our amazing community engaging with us. Hi, Chris. Thank you for being here. I don't think Roblox is on a chain or does anything with blockchain. Is that right, James?
Yeah, you're correct. Well, at least to my knowledge, I don't think they are, but no, they're not.
They're
Maybe
more.
they will in the future, though. So.
Have you seen any activation that had elements of NFTs or Web3 in it?
Yeah, I have actually. A big game, actually designed by a studio called Big Games. In their previous game, Pet Sim X, they released, I want to say it was 8, but it might have been 10 NFT pets, where you could, the only way you could get them was buying them on the chain. If you bought them on the chain, then you got them in the game. They were untradeable in game. You could only trade them via the chain. But I know since then that it's been disconnected and they are tradable. They are one of one pets. I will actually, but yeah, I will get them up and I'll be able to share them.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, so Chris says they mentioned NFT engagement integration last year, that they were going to start that. Yeah, seems like, I don't know, they haven't really done much. So let me share the screen that James is sharing. So these are the NFTs, right?
Yes, yeah. So they originally released on I think it was back in 2021. It may have been 2020. I can't remember exactly. But these are pets from a game called Pet Sim X.
Mm.
And oh, actually, quite a bit earlier. And there was not a very like big collection or anything like that. But they went very, very quickly. As you can see, this is like a huge rainbow Pegasus, which is incredibly sort of rare, and I do believe it's been taken off the chain now and it can be traded in game. But previously, you could only get it on chain, and it was an untradeable item. So players could basically have it following them around. They could play with it in game and stuff like that, but they were unable to trade it unless they traded on chain. But that's the only game off the top of my head uh, that has done anything like that. But Pet Sim is one of the, I'd say, like top 5 games on the platform.
And so, how is the user journey for like getting an NFT? Do they need to come out of the platform and then go to OpenSea and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's what they had to do. But it's all been taken out of the game and stuff now. I think it comes down to driving people, off of platform and stuff like that. But yeah, they had to go off platform. They had to purchase it on OpenSea, and then I think they had to like connect their Roblox account or something like that. And then it came to them in game. I am by no means like a developer, so how that
No, no,
works
I
is I
appreciate
don't
you
know.
sharing that. So this is actually a good example to talk about, because like I played the Hilton activation, and I saw that they also like take you out of the platform, and then like you have to do a lot of jumps here and there. Is that typical? Like kind of like register here and then like get your ID and then go to here and then go to Discord and like, is that like typical that you have seen?
Um, yeah, right now it is quite typical, and brands are having to be, not just brands, but YouTubers and developers are having to be smart with how they get people off platform.
Yeah.
Um, and that is, Roblox's way of keeping their platform safe. I think, in an ideal world, they let everyone just, drive people off platform and, hey, go follow me on Twitter and, go to my website and you get 20% discount and stuff like that. But
Mm.
unfortunately, the world we live in, there are people that would abuse that. And obviously the demographic that are on Roblox, I think, they definitely need obviously looking after. So I think it's a good thing, but I'm hearing rumors that there are some things that are potentially changing in the future. And I know Roblox sometimes are on the slower side of doing this, but obviously massive beast of a company, and something like driving people off of platform is huge to them. And I think they're gonna make sure that they do it right to keep their users safe, which is one of their utmost priorities. So I think it's like good. It can be frustrating for brands, I understand that, but ultimately it's a good thing.
And if they were to like make it easier, they probably needed to do more gatekeeping and filtering messages or links and stuff like that that they probably don't want to do. So
Yeah,
um,
exactly. Yeah.
that's interesting. Cool. You touched on the target audience. Tell us more, because we often think that this is just for Gen Alpha. What has been your observation and experience? What type of demographic does Roblox really attract?
So it does have a lot of Gen Alpha, but also a lot of Gen Z, as well as some of the older side of Gen Z. And I don't think a lot of people realize this. So some of the developers and players and creators that I know are, between the ages of sort of like 15 and 20, which maybe seems like, oh, why is like a 19, 20-year-old still playing Roblox? But a lot of them have been on the platform now for 7, 8, 9. I know some people that have been on there for 10 years. And so they've been on it since they were maybe 9 or 10, and they've
Wow.
actually grown up with it. And they're now the ones that are helping, sort of cultivate the community and really designing these games. And so they're the ones that genuinely, like, really know what the users want because they've been playing for 8, 9 years. So it's really great to to see. And I don't think a lot of people realize that a lot of the platform are older than what they anticipate.
Interesting. And you also mentioned like the graphics, because like Roblox had their kind of event talking about their future plans for the next 5 years and so on. And then you look at those graphics, they look very realistic. And then the real Roblox that we go to now, it's not really there. So what are your thoughts on that? Is there a different section of Roblox that we don't have access to, or is that hasn't been launched? Like, what is going on with the graphics?
So with a lot of games, it has been quote unquote blocky for so long that that's now what the community are used to, and that's what they like, and it is part of Roblox. You'll have some users that wouldn't go near a humanoid avatar because it's like classic Roblox to still be blocky, and I think that's what makes the community really strong, is they have affirmations of what they like and what they don't like. But then some of the other things that developers have to take into consideration is Roblox is available on so many different devices that putting these stunning graphics that are available and some developers do make onto some of their games actually makes their game unplayable for some people. There's so many people that are playing on mobile, and mobiles change every year or something now,
Yeah.
that it's hard to keep up with the tech. So something that is like the latest tech may not, my phone is like 7 years old or something, and I don't think that my phone could play the latest graphics. So I think there's some element there that definitely Roblox developers are taking into consideration. And one of the games that I play a lot of recently added a potato mode, which is like very like they're trying to make good graphics, and they're trying to make it look visually pleasing and all that type of stuff, but then they're also thinking about like they don't want to leave any of their community behind. So I think there's like two ways to look at it. The graphics are available, definitely, and I've seen some people create some incredible things, but equally they want to be available to everyone, and they still want to keep it a little bit like Roblox, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So the processing of the graphics happens locally, and that's where you have those challenges. Cool. Thank you for sharing that. That gives a lot of good perspective. And we have some other questions
Yeah.
from our audience in terms of like kind of converting the Robux to cash. Is that doable?
Yeah. So you can take Robux out of the system. I'd have to look it up exactly, but I think it's 100,000 Robux you need to. It's called DevX, so like a developer exchange. And they ask for your payment details. You can go into your bank, go into your PayPal. It takes like up to 14 days. It's a pretty quick system. I think you can only do it once every, I want to say 30 days. I haven't DevX for a little while, so I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah, it is fully possible, and lots of developers and like UGC creators and stuff make a living off of this. So yeah, they can put it into cash.
Amazing. Yeah, we all heard IKEA is hiring. So
Yeah,
like you want to work and be enjoying your Roblox journey, yeah, you can do it now.
yeah.
That's really cool. Awesome. Thank you for the question. And we have another question about collaboration or competition. What do you see brands are doing, or what do you recommend or advise brands to do? Is it more collaboration type of activations or competition?
I think it depends on the brand and what they're trying to achieve. So I think there is very good examples of both. So a great example of a collab, I would say, is oh gosh, what car brand? I think it was Audi. It may not be Audi. Oh, Lamborghini. I think Audi have done it as well. But they have collaborated with Driving Empire, which is a very successful Roblox game about driving. That's what it says on the tin, and makes sense for them to collaborate in that sort of regard. And then very recently this weekend, I spoke about Superdrug, which is a UK health beauty company that also collaborated with Banana Studios and Dub It to make a obby, which is an obstacle course. And rather than make their own sort of world, what they've done is they've collaborated with free obstacle courses that already exist, and have added it as like an additional course. And I think like that type of thing where, okay, you don't want to maybe be in it forever, or like with Driving Empire, they can be there forever. They probably have some form of license agreement. But like Superdrug, as an example, is for their 60th anniversary. They've probably got a, let's say, a 30-day campaign, and then they don't have to think about it again. So it's very like a traditional, let's go do some form of marketing. And I think that's easier for brands to understand. Then you have other, brands that come in and they want to do a full-blown like world. So Despicable Me 4 is coming out on July the 3rd, which I know because of Roblox. And they have gone ahead and created their own world, which is also an obby. But they have other, they have like a race mode and stuff coming out as well. And they have chosen to make their own because they are doing a much larger marketing campaign for their film that's coming out. So I think, depending on what a brand is wanting to do, there is definitely options for everyone. You can go super, super small and do just like a UGC drop with a UGC creator, which would be like creating an avatar item, and just getting your brand out there and dipping your toes in the water.
Yeah.
Or you could go full blown world and do something like long term, like Elf are doing. I don't know if anyone has checked out Elf, but they have a tycoon game which has got millions of plays and has been updated regularly. But that is a lot more for a brand to like say bite off and get into, because that's not something that you're going to do for 2 months. Elf, I'm sure, are planning for the next sort of 6 and 9 months, rather than just like, okay, I want to push like this new product out. So it really depends on what they're sort of looking for, which probably didn't really answer the question. I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate it. But how about like the activation itself? Like, do you want that? Like, do you see most players are encouraged to collaborate, or is it that they kind of plan a competition, like traditional games? Like, what type of activities do you see brands, are more successful in when they're encouraging for collaboration or competition?
So I would say I'm seeing brands mostly right now doing collabs in form of UGC drops, which are the avatar items. They're very, free UGC. We say free, like very loosely. They never have to sort of pay any Robux or any money, but they have to get it through doing a series of actions, which is, fantastic for the brand if it is, hey, come play my obby for, I don't know, 15 minutes or get this many points to unlock it and stuff like that. I think brands have started to realize that Roblox players are very excited about their avatar. It's how they express themselves on the platform and really sort of showcase who they are. And so some of the most successful brands so far have been doing fantastic UGC drops. We just seen on Twitter just yesterday that I can grab it up real quickly for you, but Sour Patch Kids, it's not like officially out yet. One thing that is a downside for Roblox is once you have published an item and sort of once you've uploaded it and not published it, you can still see them. So users can go and find them and you see off sale. But this is something that's gone out and 715 people have liked it and users are excited for the items that are coming. So I think that's been some of the most successful things so far. Arguably the most successful thing in my opinion was a good few years ago was Chipotle, where they gave away, I think it was 300,000 free burritos, like real life burritos, which is very cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That actually managed to crash Roblox for like a whole, well, Roblox say officially it wasn't that, but Roblox did crash 3 days after that activation went live. And they gave away like, 300,000 real life burritos. You had to complete something in their game, and it gave you a code. You could go down to your local Chipotle and you could get a free burrito. And I'm sure the footfall and the traffic they did there was fantastic. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of brands do very cool IP related stuff, coming onto the platform.
That's amazing. So great to know. How about like multiplayer activations? I have played some Roblox, and every time I felt like, I'm just by myself, even though like I see others, but everybody is on their own journey. Have you seen successful activations around like multiplayer activations, like when you are competing or collaborating with others to accomplish something?
Yeah, so earlier this year, Kung Fu Panda 4 came out in the cinemas, and they did a Roblox activation where you actually had to partner up with someone. You couldn't complete, it was impossible to complete the game unless you played with someone. And what we saw there uh, were people obviously playing with their friends, but also people making friends, because if they didn't have someone to play with, they could
Mhm.
wait in the lobby and basically try and make a friend, like, hey, let's complete this together. So I
Nice.
think that's the real sort of, I think that's one of the most important things, is if you're going to create a game, how can we create connections? We're growing up, or Gen Z are now growing up in a world that the internet is so readily available that some people's like best friends are going to be on the other side of the planet. Uh, I flew to Arizona from the UK this year for one of my friends' weddings. First time I met him in real life, and I've been friends with him for like 5 6 years. And I think if there's a game on Roblox that is able to help form friendships or help make people have connections, such as like Kung Fu Panda, then people are more likely to come back and play games because they've met a friend there, and they'll go back because they know someone that's playing it.
That's amazing. Yes. Yeah, I haven't seen too many of these, but that's a really good example. So then, how do you define the community on Roblox? Some even call Roblox a social media for Gen Alpha and, potentially Gen Z. But when I was playing, I see that there's a chat. I don't see like really like connection or friendship discussions. It's more like on the game, like you're yelling or saying something about the game. So curious, like, does the community live somewhere else? Like, what is the definition of community on Roblox from your perspective?
So Roblox also has a thing called groups, where creators, developers will have groups, games will have groups, where people can go. It is not the best chat system. It's like a very old school style wall. Once something new gets posted, it sort of goes down. So what we see is a lot of the communities exist on Discord, and some of the biggest unofficial Roblox community that I know of on Discord has just, I think it's like 2 million users. It's like it's capped out. No more can get in there. You have to go on like a waiting list. When someone leaves, you can get in there. So we see, people going to Discords, especially like very successful games where people are looking to play with others and stuff like that. And then, very similar for creators. A lot of the creators will have their own Discords where they can play games together, notify them of videos they're pushing out and stuff like that. So, I would say Discord, and then Roblox would probably like me to say Gilded as well. Gilded is owned by Roblox. I'd say it is a technically like a competitor to Discord. They're starting to do a little bit more with Gilded to make it more integrated into Roblox, such as you can integrate like your sales that you've got. So if you've got an item up for sale, you can link it and post it nicely in Gilded. It's not something that I've got a Gilded account. I know lots of Roblox players that have one. Discord is further than Gilded right now, but I'm sure that Roblox are doing things that they would like to change over the coming future. So I'd say they're the two. Discord's definitely the bigger one. Gilded may be in the future.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. And so brands should consider that element of like potentially building the community on Discord in parallel or before. Like, what are your thoughts in terms of the community building of these activations?
So with brand activations, I would always try, and if you're wanting to build a community, like Elf is a great example. Um, they have built their game. They've done some really cool UGC drops. They've done a lot in the space, and they also now have a Discord which they drive people to. They have a great community manager in there that is engaging with the community and such like that. And obviously, once you have the user in your Discord, you can ask them to do a lot more. And arguably, if they've gone to your Discord, they have a really strong connection with your brand, your experience, whatever it is that you're creating, because they've gone that extra step to talk to you on a regular basis. So I would say, if you're going to come and spend a lot of time here and you're looking at doing a 9 to 12 month activation or further, like permanent, Discord should be part of what you are looking at, definitely. But if you were just doing a much shorter activation, and this is maybe controversial, if you're only going to look to do 2-3 months, the chances of you building a successful Discord in that sort of period of time that is going to have meaning to people, I wouldn't stress about it too much. I'd look to more collaborate with existing Discords, which a lot of communities will do as well. Like, some big Discords that I can think of, like if we talk trading again, some very big trading Discords that will happily do collabs and activations there. And you can get the same sort of impact. Building a Discord can take some significant time, but once it's built up, is like a very powerful tool, and I think very often overlooked.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, my experience has been, if you don't really bring in innovation or new stories, new activation, then like you just had an activation and there's nothing going on, then people are just gonna be less active and not check it out, because Discord can get really busy and crowded. We all are part of so many servers, so
Yeah.
you have to definitely bring value and engage them. So that is very good advice. Thank you for that. We also have another comment from Mr. Liusel. He's wondering how he can bring his IRL clothing into the games. So let's touch on that. We just heard, I think Walmart was the first brand that actually, or retailer that actually brought in the e-commerce of buying physical and digital on Roblox. Can you share a little bit more about that? It's like, what were the limitations? Why no one else has done it before? And how do you think the kind of community on Roblox is responding to that?
So no one has done it inside Roblox before because it just hasn't existed. So Walmart are, obviously a very close partner to Roblox, and they have access to the beta, which they're doing very well in. And right now, when you go and purchase something, it's US only. If anyone tries, it's in the Walmart experience. And if you try and purchase it, it doesn't make you leave Roblox, which is maybe doesn't seem that exciting to a lot of people, but I think is very, very exciting. I think there's a lot of buying power inside Roblox. So right now they have a speaker, for example, just it's a $10 speaker. You can purchase it via Roblox, and it will ask for like your bank details, where you want it posted, and all that type of stuff. Once you purchase it, you'll then get it's not a one-to-one, but you'll get like a speaker that'll attach to your avatar also. The best thing is it is the same price as what it would be if you bought it on Walmart online. You're just getting something additional. So there is actually a reason to go to Roblox and to go and purchase it. Obviously, hopefully, as the beta comes to an end, hopefully they roll it out to more partners and we see stuff like this happen. We have seen some games do this already. Just off platform. So big games, one of the ones that I was talking about earlier, and I have actually got this. Big games have done like physical items, which I then have this in game. Very similar to Monster Cat have done something similar. So this is like a cool little plushie that I have these physically, but I also have them in game. So I think what the coolest thing is they're not going to be what Walmart is leading is that we're not going to have to leave Roblox, which is always where, a lot of people, anytime you ask a user to click somewhere further, you obviously have a natural drop off. So exactly. We're not going to hopefully not have that drop off. Sorry for cutting you off.
Amazing. And so like, if you can just high level tell us like what the process is for a brand to like, what are some of the high level steps that they need to do to do an activation. And then we will get to some case studies. But like, let's say for Mr. Liu Sol, our audience wants to get into activating and selling on Roblox and building a community. What are the steps?
So if you were looking, if we take like just clothing as an example, I actually was lucky enough to work with a designer earlier in the year called Benny Andallo, and he wanted to bring. He does these very cool, funky hats. You can search them on Instagram. They're very flamboyant. They're very cool, and so he wanted to bring his hats to life on Roblox. And what we managed to do was get him in contact with a UGC creator that could match his designs to that sort of like standard that he wanted, and how it would look on an avatar and stuff like that. And honestly, once that he was happy with the designs, we're able to upload it into their group. So that if you're making sales, and this one, we did one that was free and then we did one that was paid, then the money can go straight into like their group. You can then, that's how you can dev exit. So it all goes into a group and you can sort of take it out. If you're wanting to go much further, so like building an activation or maybe collaborating, then it would be finding a studio that like matches your needs of what you're wanting to build, or finding a game or experience that you're happy to say collaborate in. So if you were let's say a farm brand, going into a game such as like Farming and Friends would make sense, opposed to going into a game that is to do with I don't know, let's say fishing. So it would be like, trying to find the games and activations you're happy to go in. So yeah, it's about finding the right people, and then from there, everyone that I have dealt with and has helped brands are just incredibly helpful and excited to be working with people and guiding them in the space, to be honest with you.
Amazing. And of course, doing the Discord community building, and doing all the other aspects of like engaging your audience and keeping them excited, like the example with Elf Beauty. So that was amazing. Thank you for that. Let's get into some of the previous work that you have done. If you want to share your screen and walk us through some of the great work you have done, and yeah, what were the outcomes, and who was involved?
Sure. So this particular one was with the PGA. They do have a game on Roblox called the PGA Tour Scramble, and effectively you can go into the game. There's a few different holes you can play, which are named after some of the actual what they call courses that are in real life, and you can see how far real life golfers have hit the ball. You can putt it, you can earn different UGC items, and it's this introduction into golf for a younger audience. And so what they wanted to do with us was basically get more people into the game, as well as having people join their group, which again, like I said, a group is connected to sort of their game. And what we did this over a 3-day activation, so a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we had 108,000, or just over 108,000 plays for them. 70,000 people joined their group. Their game favorability, so you can like or dislike a game based on the experience you have, went from 68 to 93%, which was mainly down because a lot more people were playing it than previously. If you think about like favorability, very similar to like reviews on Amazon or maybe reviews on Google, they can be quite impactful when there's not as many. If you only have, say, 5 reviews and 2 people have given you a 1 star and 3 people have given you a 5 star, it's going to give you like a 3 star overall, and it might not actually be the case. And then throughout the entire campaign, so this is including socials, in Discord, YouTube, etc., they had around about 5 million campaign impressions. I think the biggest challenge that we had here was Roblox launched their first event for like 3 years. It was called The Hunt. It was a few weeks long. There was something like 50 games in it. And this launched on the same day. So actually, we were really happy, and the PGA were very, very happy as well with what sort of happened. And we're hoping to do some stuff in the future with them, and just getting more eyes onto their game, really.
Amazing. So you touched on some really good points here, like the time limitation that usually these activations have, Is it because of the FOMO that you're like, oh, I have to get in and play this within this time frame? Like what? And then if that's the case, or like other reasons, like what is the recommended time frame for these activations?
I'd say there's no real recommended time frame. The PGA wanted to do it over a certain weekend because there was a golf tournament going on, so they
Uh,
wanted more eyes sort of on that. But if we look at, say, Despicable Me is a great one right now. They're going for just over 4 weeks, and what they are doing is they are, um, you know, strategically placing their different drops and when different items are available so that they can get an influx of players at any sort of given time. So they are updating their game every Friday for the next sort of like 4 weeks, which will just consistently drive people there. So what you're seeing is like Friday just gone, I think they're up to around about 3,000 concurrent players, which I think got them around about 70,000 DAU. And then like it drops off. So like looking at it right now, it's at around about 250 CCU, but I'm sure this Friday it will then spike up again, which will help in the algorithm and stuff like that. So no real recommended time. Just whatever you are, whatever the offer is from the brand, make sure that the time that the user is putting in is actually worth it. So if you're saying, hey, I will give you, I don't know, let's just say one UGC item, but you've got to play for 4 weeks, that probably isn't going to be fantastic for the user, so won't have as much impact. So it's looking at that type of stuff, really.
That's a really good point. And then you mentioned rating. Does that include like written description of like the experience, or like the reviews, or is it just a like or dislike?
It's just a like or dislike, but
Cool.
that does that impacts like the algorithm. So if you have a very negatively impacted game, Roblox are less likely to recommend the game. So it does have impact in it.
So then, how do brands or creators are getting feedback? Is it just through the Discord?
So some games have feedback forms inside them, and there'll be like a little pop-up that will say, what do you like? What don't you like? What can we change? Stuff like that. And then some will take feedback through their groups, and then some will do it through Discord. So each game is different, and obviously the larger you get, the more difficult it is to get that feedback and equate it. And what you'll see often is some of the much larger games will take feedback from creators because the creators have a much larger creators because they have their finger pulse on the community, so they're getting a lot of feedback from their community, so they try and summarize it. And I think that's what we've seen recently, and it's definitely something that Roblox does really well as well. So Roblox will, for their events, they'll give a feedback form to get a general pulse, but also we've seen the CEO tweet out and ask for feedback. And in all credit to them, they are actually very good at replying to not all of them, obviously, because they get an absurd amount of comments, but they do reply and try and answer those, and they also do Q&As as well. So we see some developers do that as well. So it's nice that Roblox sort of sets that standard.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And then you touched on the algorithm. Is there
Yeah.
anything you want to share with us? Because usually the algorithms of these platforms are very black box. That you don't know what's happening. It's annoying a lot of creators. So yeah, just curious what your thoughts are.
So I'd love to have it nailed down to a T, and I think there's lots of things that a lot of people think, and I think we don't all really know. But there are some things that are like, key. So session length, how long are people staying in the game is important. So that doesn't mean that they have to sit and necessarily play for 15, 20 minutes. But what we're seeing some games do is offer like an AFK service. So you can sit in this particular area, you can be AFK, but you can still earn points, but at a much slower rate. So then that will get session length up. Obviously, some games are fantastic and they just play, but like we are seeing that. Rating matters. How well monetized it is, matters as well. Obviously, Roblox is a business at the end of the day. So if you have a completely free to play game with no monetization options, which to my knowledge, nothing like that exists, but and I can't point to say this is 100% true, but I'm sure if your game was 100% free to play, I'm not sure would maybe get recommended as much, but maybe it would. Who knows? But yeah, I would say it's important to get your plays up as quick as you can. Keep your your game favorability up, and then session length for the three things that you can probably control. The rest of it is a little bit of luck sprinkled in here and there.
That's really helpful. Thank you so much for that. And so you touched on the monetization. Um, how much is Roblox taking from these UGC sales or activations in general?
There is different amounts. It can get a little bit complex. So if I am and I don't quote me on these because they do get a little bit complex, and I have to often check.
Yeah, roughly.
If I am the creator and I'm selling directly to you, then I get 70%. Roblox gets 30%. You can then resell my item to, let's say, Joe Blogs. You then get a cut, and I get 10% of the original cut, and then obviously Roblox get their cut. If I sell it inside a game, so say something like catalog avatar creator or avatar outfit creator, then the game gets a cut, I get a cut, and Roblox get a cut. So it can very differ. And then game passes. So say, for example, I've built a game and I want to give you a, 25% luck boost. Roblox take a cut and I take a cut. Then there's, it'll go into my group. If I want to take it out of my group and dev exit, Roblox also take a cut as well. So it can actually get very. I can send you the link afterwards if you want to sort of include that.
If you can put it in the chat, that would be helpful for our audience afterwards. But yeah, this is really interesting. So that makes sense. This is why the algorithm recommends games that have more monetization, because Roblox makes more money too.
It's the best thing about Roblox is all free. So if you and I wanted to go build a game right now, we can. It doesn't cost us anything to host. It doesn't cost us anything. There are free assets out there for us to go and use. Obviously, a lot of games create their own, but realistically, if we wanted to go create a game right now, we could do, and it wouldn't cost us anything apart from our time. So I think that's the most developers look at it in that sort of regard.
And that's very helpful for Roblox, because all they did is creating the platform, providing the servers, all those things, and then creators do the work of building, like many other social media platforms. Very cool. Let's get into your other example or case study if you want to share.
Yeah, sure. So then the other one that we've got is a little bit of crossover between digital and physical. I think some people are coining the word phygital. I'm not sure how I feel about that word right yet, but we'll roll with it. And so this one was with Minor Threats, which is a comic, villains and heroes and all that type of stuff. And so this was more of a collaboration. So they collaborated with a game called Robio, which is a Roblox scientist that can be injected, turn into a monster, that type of stuff. And so what we did with these guys was, if you went and completed a mission with inside Robio, you could get a cool UGC item, which is one of these ones that are floating around. But also, you could get a code for a comic for the latest Minor Threats comic. So a real introduction for users. They did have to go to the Minor Threats website and redeem it there. So as you can see, we had a 27% redemption rate. But that is, new people that had never ever seen this comic before. And as you can see here, they had a 329% increase in signups, which is awesome for what they were doing, collaborating with a game that already exists on the platform. This is Frankie Follis, who is a character from Minor Threats. So really bringing a character to life that didn't exist in Roblox into an existing game, and then actually getting people to go, oh, I like this character of what I've seen, and then getting them to go sign up to a completely different website. So, leaving the platform, going to sign up, and then getting to actually, read the comic. So then, the rest is up to the brand. They've got to enjoy the comic to then carry on and all that type of stuff. But as an introduction, I think, that's really sort of fantastic.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that really cool stuff that you have done. And I'm sure there's more that will come very soon. So let's get into like your predictions of the space, whether it's specific to Roblox or just this, kind of immersive experiences. What are your predictions? Where do you see this is all going? What would you like to see?
Oh gosh, what would I like to see? I'm really excited with what Walmart's doing. I think the e-commerce thing is very, very exciting. I shared this yesterday actually on LinkedIn that obviously like the TikTok shop as a great example didn't exist a few years ago, and their revenue last year was 11 billion. And I think TikTok has around about, I think it's 100 minutes, something around about that time is being spent on TikTok, whereas users are spending 150 minutes on Roblox right now. And we see people spending a lot of Robux, a lot of money on um, you know merch for games and stuff like that, and that exists. So I think that sort of road that we're going down is very exciting. But then I think some of the really cool stuff that I'm really excited to see is sports teams getting involved, being able to see sports events. So last year the NFL was viewable inside Roblox, which is incredible. And I think sports unfortunately is getting to a point now that if you're wanting to watch if I'm a big football fan, soccer for those of you that are American. Um, if you're wanting to watch like a Premier League team, it's very expensive these days. Unfortunately, you're talking £100 a ticket plus travel plus food and stuff like that. So if we can really bring those experiences to life inside
Yeah.
Roblox and introducing fandom in a different way that doesn't currently exist, I think is incredibly exciting. But also, I think Visa did something very great. Not last week, the week before, with Post Malone. So he was live in Paris, like a real life gig, and they actually streamed it inside Roblox. Now,
Wow.
was it perfect? Probably not. Sorry, Visa. Like, it's okay though.
The
Um,
starting point. Yeah.
yeah, but I think something like that is very cool, and I think a lot of people my age and stuff like that. I was chatting to my friends about it that have got kids, and they're like, "Yeah, but you can see that on YouTube and TikTok and stuff now." And I'm like, "Yeah, you can." And I told his kids, and they were like, "That's so cool." And I think it's having that understanding that kids being able to say, go and play a game, be themselves in a virtual world, maybe earn something cool from like that Post Malone concert, but also see him live in something that they're probably maybe never going to do, or they're not going to fly to Paris to go and watch him, is a
Yeah.
very cool experience. And I think it is just the start. And how do we continuously sort of expand this like over and over and over again? I mean, I remember, and I'm maybe showing my age. I remember queuing up for game drops, like outside stores at like midnight, 1 a.m., waiting for the shops to open and stuff like that. And I remember my parents being like, "Why are you doing that?" And I look back now, I'm like, "Why did I do that?" Like, but it was part of it, part of the event, part of the excitement. And I
Yes.
think gaming has changed a lot to digital, that we now need to bring like this physical world into it, and we can create just as much excitement into it.
Amazing. Love everything you shared. Yeah, building that excitement is what everybody dreams of. So that is a really good example. So what about like as we're approaching towards the end of the show, how our community can support you? What is next for you? Is there any way we can, kind of add value and support you for all the amazing work that you're doing?
Um, any way of supporting, just chatting, about Roblox is great. If you guys are ever wanting to, maybe you're already in Roblox and you're not having as much success as you would like, chatting about that. Or if you're not inside Roblox yet, chatting about how we can bring you into it. But then even if that doesn't interest you, just obviously following and liking and engaging is obviously very appreciated, and potentially gets myself in front of people and brands that are looking to come into Roblox. So yeah, anything like that helps, to be honest with you.
Amazing. And where they can find you? You're active on LinkedIn, X, TikTok. You mentioned, right? If you want to share your handle.
Yeah, so on LinkedIn is just James Purell. That is seems very weird saying my real name. That is, we can link it, but it's obviously part of this. Then on X, which I think that's the first time I've ever not called it Twitter, is at J64. And then honestly, I actually don't do that much on TikTok anymore. I've actually taken a break because
Really?
it was making me spend too much time on the app. So I'm trying to spend a
That's
little bit less time on social media.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you to our amazing audience. This was really cool. I learned so much. You're so, experienced and knowledgeable, James, and I highly recommend everyone to follow him. He posts some of the best, review and overview of activations. So you don't want to miss out. Definitely follow him and reach out if you need help. He's a great strategist. Thank you so much, everyone. I will not be having a show next week because I will be at Augmented World Expo meeting some amazing talents and innovations. And then the following week, we have Alicia from, coming and talking about metaverse and, how brands are kind of incorporating these immersive technologies even on the enterprise side. So thank you so much again, and we'll be back on Tuesdays, 9 a.m. PST. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.